Seven, six, five, four, three, two, one.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to CBD Talk Podcast. Tonight is episode number 91, and we have a friend of mine. We've had one of his cohorts on the show before that you guys liked a lot because I saw lots of views on that one. So tonight we are welcoming Erik from CBD Lion. Now, for those of you who have heard me talk about my dog, the CBD Lions Tincture is what Jackson is on right now for his diabetes, and so it's working well. We're still keeping at the 12 cc's twice a day, and just another great use for CBD. And of course, I can say that because I'm not selling it, so the FDA can kiss my butt. Anyway, so we have got Erik here, and we are gonna talk a little bit tonight about the recreational use in Illinois, because Erik and CBD Lion are in Illinois, and we're going to talk a little bit about some minor cannabinoids and also some just basic education stuff that we like to throw out at you.
Just random cannabis stuff. It'll be good. Be good for everybody.
Exactly. And then at the end, I'm just going to we're going to go over a couple of their products because I always like to share information about people that are helping us get the education. So,
Yep.
all right, Erik, how about we start with what I usually start with, and how you found your way into the industry and what kind of pulled you in.
All right. Well, I guess the first thing that kind of pulled me in would be the death of my grandma at an early age. She had breast cancer, and fortunately, she passed away. I think I was about 8 or 9. So that was one thing. Cancer took someone that was probably one of the closest people to me at that age.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how that necessarily has any relation to what necessarily drew me in, but basically, I just had some natural draw towards the cannabis plant, and just through just through experiencing the plant and also learning about it, reading about it. I was, when I was in college, I was reading through studies, and I was debating. At the time, California just legalized medical, and I was contemplating, putting my entire life on the line and moving to California.
Mm-hmm.
And once you do that, there's no going back.
Yeah.
You can't get a job as a banker or a pharmacist.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was a difficult decision. And based on that research, the different things that I found, I basically decided that this was something that I could commit my life to.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to help people. There's a lot we don't know about it, and it's exploratory and it's beneficial for people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing that I think cannabis is really great for.
It's also draws people in, I think, a lot because of the fact that there is so much to learn. You can't get bored in the cannabis industry because there's new stuff happening all the time. There's always something to
There's so
learn.
much unknown. So
Yeah.
much unknown with it. We just learned that there's a couple new cannabinoids. I believe it was THCP and CBDP, and those are, at least THCP is going to be about 30 times more receptive to your CB1 receptor.
Wow.
Essentially could make it 30 times as potent as normal THC, or at least you would feel it much more apparent.
Okay, so it does have like a psychoactive element to it.
Apparently, that's what we're learning.
Okay.
Just due to the fact that it can bind to that CB1 receptor so readily. So you're just going to feel much more of that effect. So
Nice. I'm really excited with I think our last episode, of the one I think the one before that was with Emmett Blair, and he's a PhD, and it was just had just released a study. a safety study on CBD, and so I so enjoy um, learning more through these studies, and so there was some really good stuff on that.
I think we're going to learn a ton of new things through these studies coming up. I mean, we're just now starting to see these studies getting done at an actual scale.
Hmm.
We're seeing more and more universities now having access to cannabis. Even federal research here in the United States has been, rather restrictive.
Yeah.
And, that's a can of worms right there. If you want to talk about health insurance and who's paying the bills for my cannabis, they could essentially, lower my chance of going to the doctor.
Hmm.
But again, those are all things that, need to be statistic based and backed by proper science, and the studies need to be done. So,
And we've got a year under our belt now since the Farm Bill, so I know that there have been a lot more studies in the last year than we've seen in a very long time.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of different studies done. I've had, inquiries, from states like New York, Connecticut, also from California, as well as Vegas. So we're seeing more and more universities come on to do different studies, and that's the thing is we're going to start learning different things that we maybe were unsure about that maybe push us in the next direction of, hey, what's that next ripple that we'll find that
Hmm.
will cause us to learn that next thing, right?
Yeah.
It's a never ending learning experience with the cannabis plant. That's one of the first things I learned in this space. Everyone thinks that they can learn everything about it in 2 weeks and then they got it. And this is an ever evolving experience. You have so many factors into how this industry operates, and everything is at play all the time.
I love
All
it.
factors to be considered.
And I mean, we've got over 100 cannabinoids, and so you just think about the studies that are going to be done on each individual, and then you start, with the whole entourage thing, then you start combining them. Okay, well then there's a myriad of combinations there to try, and what's going to help this, what's going to help that. I there's no way anytime someone tells me that they're a cannabis expert, I
Mhm.
just hold back laughter because nobody is an expert. I mean, yes, you can be very knowledgeable about cannabis, but the word expert kind of implies that you know everything and nobody knows everything.
Yeah, I
Dr.
agree.
Meshulam doesn't even know everything. So,
Yeah, it's a forever learning experience, especially as, the plant is perhaps also evolving,
mhm.
as we go. We've seen THC strains go from 10% up to 30% plus now.
Yeah,
And it's been a generation or two, if that, right?
yeah,
Well, maybe a few more. But yeah, again, you asked me the initial question was, what initially, brought you into cannabis? It was also my grandmother, but I was also diagnosed with ADHD,
mm,
and that was something that I didn't start smoking cannabis until I was in college.
mhm,
I was very much, a student that was, indicted under like, the DARE
yeah,
thing of, hey, no drugs, stay away from everything, those are
mhm,
bad. And, once I was taking pharmaceuticals, I was prescribed up to, 5 different types of ADHD medications from Adderall, Strattera, Vyvanse, Focalin, Wellbutrin, and just seeing the different side effects of it, and also being an athlete at the time, I was playing soccer. It was just difficult to maintain my appetite, difficult to fall asleep, and when you fall asleep, that's the stage where your body recovers and your brain rejuvenates. So,
exactly.
um, being in college and the workload, I just noticed that, hey, I need to also sleep and learn. So I started using cannabis naturally to increase my appetite,
Mhm,
which also helped me sleep,
mhm.
and which because it induces homeostasis. But yeah, that was the first thing that really kind of turned me onto it. And then once I realized different strains cause different effects, that's where the rabbit hole begins.
Yeah, and that's yeah. I love that about a lot of the people in the industry is that they got into the industry because it worked for them. And then they're like, huh, well, wonder if I can find a way to help it worked for other people too. You know, when we
That's
talked with Andrew
exactly it.
when he came in, you know, your coworker Andrew, and he talked about how it helped his Crohn's disease.
Yeah,
And
really.
yeah, and it's just amazing how it helps people.
Yeah, it's hilarious. I've spoke with numerous doctors, and time and time again, I have them approach me with, "Hey, we don't even know if this stuff works. It's probably placebo." And then I
Fine.
give them some products, and I say, "Here, give this to all the people that you have had nothing work on, and then let me know what they say." And then 9 out of 10 times,
Yep.
I have a great conversation after that.
Yeah.
So uh, the effects are absolutely apparent. It may not work for everybody if their system is balanced already as far as their endogenous cannabinoids, but the applications are endless as far as being able to supplement your endocannabinoid system with phytocannabinoids.
Yep.
You're going to see an endless amount of different things. So
Well,
I don't want to get too EBD on you with that.
well, I gotta say that one of the ways that I've been able to help people realize whether it works for them or not is when they stop taking it. And then all of a sudden they're like, whoa, my symptoms came back. Like, yeah, that's how it works. And unfortunately, I am a bit of a helpless person sometimes. And for some stupid reason, um, for the last couple of months of 2019, I stopped taking CBD. I just, I was making sure that the dog
So
had
you
it,
got too busy, you forgot about it.
yeah, and that my son had it, and all of a sudden I started getting sick, and my asthma was kicking my butt. I had to actually go back on an albuterol inhaler. I was like, oh my God, what is wrong with me? What is wrong with my asthma? Why? And I was like, oh. So I started back up, and so my inhaler is not being used anymore again. As every once in a while, I just have to be stupid and remind myself that actually this stuff is really working really well. And
Yeah.
yeah, I couldn't believe though that I got to the point where I mean I was taking my inhaler 2-3 times a day easily because I had just for some weird reason I just wasn't taking the CBD anymore. My son was, my dog was, but as moms we always put ourselves at the end anyway. And
Right. Maybe it was anxiety induced. You were so worried about everything else, you forgot about yourself, Don.
oh, actually it's mine is very much it's the and
Spasms?
spasms and inflammation. I've been asthmatic since I was an infant. And
Doc?
so this was way before because I was born in the 60s. They hadn't even invented the inhalers yet.
Right.
So I mean when I would get sick, I just have to be home and taking this yucky liquid stuff and um but so with all the different things that I've been through with asthma and hospitalization and stuff, it's very much for me. I get the spasms and the inflammation, and the CBD just takes it right away.
Knocked it out.
Yeah, you know, uh, uh,
Right.
it's funny because it's like a tincture can you don't even have to inhale it. It's system wide. It helps your body. So.
Right. Absolutely. I was going to say that reminds me of one of the first people I treated with cannabis. Someone came to me, they had really bad asthma.
Mhm.
And they went to a Mexican doctor because they went to numerous, doctors here in the States, and they couldn't help them. So they went to, a doctor in Mexico for some different herbal remedy,
Mhm.
and they recommended to them the marijuana plant.
Mhm.
And so they recommended that he takes a little bit of the marijuana plant, boils it in the tea, and drinks it.
Mhm.
Um, so that was one of the first people I actually started to help treat, and he noticed just simply by putting a little bit of the herb in there and boiling it and drinking it that he was able to bring his anxiety levels down.
Mhm.
But it also helped. His anxiety was actually related to his asthma because his lungs felt like they were tightening up and caving in on him.
Oh, yeah.
So it's his own unique situation.
Yeah.
But it was just interesting to see that, like, he was even able to find relief just from putting a little bit of this plant matter and making a tea from it. It's like, well, how ancient of a technique is that?
Yeah.
You know, like, how long have we been doing that? You know, like, is there a reason why the Chinese got like tea houses and trees and all sorts of crazy stuff? Like, Chinese medicine is real due to how they've been able to develop what happens when we take these different things, right?
Yeah. No,
I don't know. I don't go on the Chinese medicine rabbit hole there.
I'm a fan of acupuncture. So
Me too.
yeah,
Me too.
that's good stuff.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, there's really, I mean, how natural can you get an herb? You know?
Yeah. Right.
So, okay, so
100%.
I want an update on Illinois on the
All
record.
right.
Yeah. So let me have it. How's
Yeah.
it going there?
All right. Well, first off, I'd like to say that numerous people in the recreational industry are extremely excited. They've been waiting for recreational for a long time. It's finally here. We now have people that can go to the dispensary, purchase their cannabis legally, pay taxes, consume cannabis legally in their own home, and it's excellent. On the other hand, we have a lot of your medical patients that are not getting the medicine that the medical bill is provided. You know, we're getting reports of a lot of shortages, and these medical patients are having issues getting the medicine that they need.
So
And
the people they're pushing the product to the rec side instead of the medical?
I mean, I don't want to necessarily say that per se, but we're just noticing that there's just a shortage overall, if I could say the least. You know, I mean, basically, you know, I was looking at the numbers, and, you know, if we look at the cultivators that are currently operating medically that are the only ones able to produce in the state, they're maybe only serving about 4% of the usable population here in Illinois, which is nothing.
Yeah.
Luckily, they're going to be allowing craft grow licenses to be issued, and you know that's going to allow for up to 40 new licenses. Unfortunately, those licenses combined will only be equal to one of those currently operating medical licenses.
Oh, jeez.
So we're seeing a very turbulent atmosphere in terms of how we can improve our state of operations here in the state of Illinois and produce fine quality cannabis, and also, you know, get proper licenses to people that can help run an industry.
Yeah.
I guess this is something that every state deals with. It's, you know, no bill is ever perfect. I think they did a great job with everything. And, you know, Illinois has been one of the smoothest programs I think that we've seen as far as, you know, legislatively. But I think we're going to see some heavy push for some bigger rec laws as far as, you know, larger grows to feed the population. That's definitely something that, you know, this state is going to be rallying for hard, because, you know, the amount of medical patients I've already talked to that are seeing the shortage, you know, not able to get the strain they need that helps this, or you know, the vaporizer that helps them not have their anxiety attacks, you know, that's helping them with their cancer treatments, you know, like, that's why the medical program was put in place, and that's why they were supposed to be able to provide for everybody. So I think we're going to be, you know, in a little bit of a recovery state, getting more licenses to people, you know, being sure we get that supply out there.
Now, we had a episode with Harley, who was the original host when we started this years ago, and Harley's in Pennsylvania now, and he's growing there. And he has homegrown essentials there. He does vape stuff. So he was explaining to me that the quality in Pennsylvania is horrific. It's just the bud is just, it's just, the quality of the cannabis is terrible. What's it like there?
I mean, the quality, it's off the charts. I mean, we're seeing really good quality's product. You know, there's some product that isn't up to snuff per se for like a medical grade product, But overall, I think Illinois has done a very gracious job at bringing in quality companies, quality products that are lab tested, dosage control.
Good. Well, he
I'm a
was just
medical.
talking about the bud, even. I mean, just buying.
The flowers have been great.
That's good.
The only other state, in my opinion, if I can say this biasly, that has been better has been Las Vegas.
Nice. Yeah, the thing that happened with Las Vegas that I know of was the problem with the transportation, and that was a political thing.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, that there was a law with that where only people who were in the alcohol industry like were able to transport stuff.
Yeah,
and that was crazy.
That's you see random stuff like that with liquor control boards and things, and
Yeah,
it is what it is. It's certain things that are necessary in order to help these industries operate. And in a way, they also streamline operations and help with taxes, right?
Yeah.
Organizing the tax collections. So in a way, they are a necessity. And if you are going to push a very liberal rec bill that's going to allow everybody to come in and get it, I think that was a good move by them.
Yeah, I guess it was just caused bottlenecks of not being able to get the product from the the growers to the dispensaries at the beginning. But they sounds like they got it all figured out by now. So.
Oh yeah, they'll figure that out. If they got it there and people want it, they'll figure that out pretty quick.
Exactly.
That's taxes not getting collected. Oh, we'll figure that one.
Exactly. Yeah, there's some money that's at stake. That's for sure.
Right.
How about we were talking before the show a little bit about the lack of education with some manufacturers. And that's always that's something we've talked about before here, and we really tout seeing COAs on products. It's really important. And when there's money to be made, a lot of times you have people jumping into the business and just getting in there because they see that green rush and they want to be part of it. Never mind that they don't have the education or experience to really know what the plant is or how it works and things like that. But they go with the shortcuts and they don't exactly follow the rules. And one of the things that we see a lot of is people saying that they're getting their CBD from seed and stock.
Yeah.
And so especially some international places. So,
yeah, that's definitely something I've ran into a couple times. I could say that the lack of education, I think, is due to certain laws here in the States that have been preventing companies from properly being able to advertise their products.
so they're lying, basically, the companies.
Well, we're being I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth with it, but basically, essentially what has happened here in the States is, nobody wants to see a CBD product on the shelf that's from the bud. They want to see it from the seed. So technically, this is for the big box stores, right? They allowed stuff that was hemp seed oil.
Yes.
Okay. So what we saw are all these companies putting CBD in products and then essentially, writing it off as hemp seed oil, not putting it on the label. There was potentially CBD in there, or who knows, right? Because actually, technically, it's labeled as hemp seed oil. So I don't know what I'm paying $80 for, but hopefully, it's really good hemp seed oil. Maybe there's CBD in it.
Yeah.
But as far as I'm concerned, CBD is not readily found in seeds.
Yeah.
I ran into one contact who specifically wanted me to provide, in order for me to sell him product overseas, I specifically needed to provide him pictorial evidence of my harvest to show the seeds, to also show how the seeds are harvested and extracted. So that's something that I think you're looking for a unicorn there. This product, it comes mainly from the female part of the plant, which is the flower. Don't get me wrong. I've heard that you can manufacture CBD through a couple of other different processes,
Mhm.
such as algae or hops. But again, they all have their application. As far as I'm concerned, CBD from hemp is probably one of the most scalable and probably some of the best for us.
Yeah, it's definitely scalable. That's for sure. I mean, it grows like crazy. It's awesome. But so again, because of the lack of regulation, people are skirting around the rules. They're but if they have to be able to get the product out there. First of all, there's no reason that we should even have to do what's being done. I mean, you have to if you GRAS status, FDA GRAS, generally regarded as safe status, is for seed, hemp seed. So that's something that's legal to put in food, is hemp seed. If you're taking it as a tincture, that's food because you're ingesting it. So I mean, if you're going more the nutraceutical, with herbs and things like that, it makes completely full sense that it is an herb and it should be treated as an herb. It should be treated just like the echinacea and everything else.
Yep.
That's why I tout the American um, Herbal Producers Association, AHPA, because they've been doing it for decades, and they've been working.
I've already seen this.
Hmm?
So they've already seen this trend.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, we're just seeing all these regulations happen in a much shorter time.
yeah. But the problem is that because of these rules that are put out there that really,
Or not put out there.
yeah, or not put out there, um, it's really creating more misinformation, and
Exactly.
and that's dangerous. I mean, if you're taking if you're buying a hemp seed oil product, you don't know what's in it. You don't know the concentration. Like, am I taking 25 milligrams in a dropper? Am I taking 50 milligrams in a dropper? Am I taking 10 milligrams in a dropper? How
Right.
are you supposed to be able to help yourself if you don't even know what you have?
Well, and that's the thing is it's all about providing transparency, right? Like
Mhm.
when we started CBD Lion, that was our goal was, not only to just provide test results showing that, hey, this product contains CBD, but also dosage control methods.
Yes,
So whenever, this is just a great example, I find a really
that's
easy
that's
way.
mine. That's what I get.
That's it right there. So 33.3 milligrams per milliliter.
Mhm.
I'll
Yeah,
only
your
take
droppers are calibrated. I mean, they have the. I love your droppers.
So right here, your consumer
Mm-hmm.
can then go ahead and see exactly how much they're getting with the graduated droppers. So
Yep.
by providing the different dosage controls, as well as transparent packaging, it's going to provide a positive experience for the consumer. Not being able to put these things on the bottle
Yeah.
or on the packaging, I think I think that's wrong. Not being able to put CBD on my packaging
Yeah.
to put it in a store, I think that's wrong.
It's very.
I mean, don't get me heated
Yeah,
about it.
I'm all about that. And the thing is that, like, when you're trying to help someone help themselves, if when you're talking to people about CBD and they're trying to create a regimen for themselves. They're trying to document what they're doing so that they can go back and see, do I need to go up? Do I need to go down? They're tracking their process, their progress, and
Nope.
everything. How can they do that if they don't know what they're taking? And that was one of the things that struck me with there was a study done at Children's Hospital here in Colorado years back, and it was of course very loose because the doctors weren't allowed to provide product or anything. This was
Right.
this was a bit ago, and they said, yeah, these kids did have success. We have no idea what they were taking, and some of them were on THC, some of them were on CBD, some different strengths and whatever of each one. They didn't know what strain they were taking,
Right.
but they knew that it was stopping the 300 seizures a day.
Oh,
So, and the doctor's like, this is great. We have no way to duplicate it. We have no way to recommend, because nobody knows what they're taking. But
right.
hey, we know it works.
This does something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we see a lot of different effects like that. I've talked with numerous doctors and pharmacists, and I swear I can have a conversation all across the board about different areas that the cannabis plant can affect more effectively than say a pharmaceutical in some cases.
Mm-hmm.
But I will definitely state this. I think in some cases, the pharmaceuticals are definitely necessary. There's a place and a time for them. I'm definitely not here to hate on pharmaceuticals by any means, but if we can also have a natural alternative, I believe, it's the people's right for it to be provided. And I think it's our obligation to provide a legal structure for businesses to provide those products for consumers.
Well, also, it has a lot to do, in my opinion, with the side effects, just avoiding the side effects that come with pharmaceuticals. Sometimes.
Isn't that ironic? Like the number one thing that pushes CBD is the side effects of pharmaceuticals.
Yeah. No, that's completely like with the asthma medication. Yeah, the side effect of the asthma medication, for the one that I was on, it was a 50% increase in chance of a fatal asthma attack.
Jeez. But you know what? You could take another product that will also reduce that risk.
Oh yeah,
and
I
then
want to start later.
maybe make your hair fall out or something,
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's the thing is that you get into that chain reaction,
Yep.
and then all of a sudden I'm taking, like you said, a medication, a pharmaceutical to treat the side effect, and then it keeps on going. But that's why for me CBD works. I'm just so grateful that it works, and then also for other things as well. But
Yeah.
but yeah, the side effects is just they
Nobody wants them. We just want the benefits.
yeah, and
Does anything do that out there?
cannabis.
You said it.
Yeah, and that's also like with Meshulam in Israel when he was doing that trial with the kids and the kids that had cancer. They were in a cancer ward in a children's hospital, and so half were receiving cannabis treatment for their side effects, for the cancer treatment side effects, the chemo side
Right.
effects, and half were not. And the nurse who was administrating, she said she knew exactly who was taking and who was not, even though it wasn't, labeled, what it was given.
Yeah,
And
totally.
she went to him. She said, "I don't care about your study. All of these kids need to be taking this." And so
Right.
they shut down the study, and all the kids took it so that none of them were sick. And that's the thing is, when you have so much evidence showing that something is working and can especially when it comes to children, can stop them.
We can't believe in that. There's got to be trials. What about the trials? We need evidence. What about the evidence,
Subpoena. No, I'm kidding. Sorry.
We need the evidence. We can't legally sell this without the evidence.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So
Provided by our insurance companies.
yeah, but that's why I'm really grateful for the rec states. I mean,
Providing an option for sure.
yeah, and CBD is great. Full plant cannabis is great. Whatever works for you is great. But having
Man,
that
I'm a big
option.
fan. I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm a huge proponent of Rick Simpson oil, and that's one of my favorite extraction methods. It's one of the first methods that I came across upon learning about cannabis.
Mm-hmm.
And in my opinion, it's one of the most medically sound products you could take. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, its overall effects on the overall body when you consume it are drastic. I think you can see a huge benefit from it, and I think that you're mainly masking the effects when you're smoking THC or CBD.
Mm-hmm.
But when you actually get the product in your body and consume it at the cellular level, that's when you start. Yep, that's when you start to see the true benefit of your system, really getting
The
that
thing
boost.
that turns me off with the Rick Simpson oil stuff is that it needs to be available commercially, because people like me are not going to extract it on my own.
Oh, heck no.
I want to go to a dispensary and buy it,
I'm with
because
you.
you know I think
I'm
about my
with you
mother
too.
who's in her 80s. It's like not going to happen. So that I just want it available more readily. And truly,
I couldn't.
we need the federal, national, just across the board, legalize the plant.
What about a global legalization?
There are several countries that are ahead of us in that, which I'm grateful for.
I
But
mean, is it far off to think that we may? I mean, I never thought that that was a possibility, and I just heard somebody talk about a global legalization. Do you think that that's a possibility coming up
I
based on
think,
all of the traction that we're seeing? Do you think that they're just going to legalize it and say, hey, this is just a recreational thing? It doesn't have the medical value.
but the thing that's going to stop that is some of the countries that are very religious.
Mm-hmm.
So like either Taiwan or Thailand, like there's some Asian countries that are,
Thailand, moves
that's just that's not gonna
not
happen.
bad, which area?
Yeah, I can see CBD. I mean, like the World Health Organization has already said, like, what the hell,
Right.
So I can see that, but I do think it's going to be a while before, unless they really tighten it down to the point like in in those specific countries, to
Mm-hmm.
where like a doctor can or it has to go through pharmacy type of deal, like no grow, no, none of that. Because I just know that there are like Singapore. Mm-mm. You can't
Yeah,
even
it's
spit your gum
been.
out and say, I don't even think they sell
Yeah, I
gum
heard
in
about that.
Singapore. Yeah,
They don't. They don't.
yeah.
I believe the president stepped on some gum and he banned it the next day.
Yeah, so there are some countries that it's just not going to happen. But I do believe that you're going to see a tipping point to where there's like 70% of the countries are probably going to allow it. And I love the fact that, you know, it's something that can take it's like some of the countries in the continent of Africa, they can grow some mean shit there. Yeah,
Oh,
and they can help their economic problems, that they can boost their
yeah,
economy
100%.
pretty. Yeah, I mean they've got an incredible climate for certain strains that would medically be so beneficial. And like we were talking before the show, you look at the things like the coronavirus and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
and we already know that CBD kills MRSA on contact.
Yep.
Like in a petri dish or like a cleaning kind of thing. Um, so
Antibacterial, antifungal properties right there.
yeah, so I mean, if we can get a ton of that growing, there's possibilities that we can wipe out some of these superbugs, possibly. Who knows?
Wouldn't it be ironic? I know like certain countries like Japan, they had the Fukushima incident. They refused to use any hemp to draw out any of the radiation.
That is so
You know,
freaking stupid.
wouldn't it be ironic if like this was the plan to help, open them up to say, hey, maybe we're thinking about things, or maybe we could be thinking about things in a different light.
Hmm. Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, because I mean, we know that the soil remediation from hemp is phenomenal, absolutely
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal. And
Yep.
just all I would ask is that they grow a strain that is used for rope or something and not for CBD, because
Oh no, they were
that's
definitely, yeah. You got to grow the right type of product for that, obviously.
yeah,
But
and
yeah,
that's again why we don't tout CBD oil from China, because we know that it is being
you don't
used.
know what type of practices are going on over there.
Yeah,
Who
and
knows? You never
and
know.
they're very well known for heavy metals and things like that.
Right, like
And they're,
was it the Katrina where they shipped in a whole bunch of drywall to help repair things, or was it Hurricane Andrew and then turned out all the drywall had like what was it, asbestos in it?
yeah. So it's not something,
So,
yeah,
well, it's just they, yeah,
yeah. So
just,
that's why
be
we
careful
stick with
about your raw
homegrown.
goods. Right, there you go.
Good old US of A hemp. And
That's it.
but we do have people listening from other countries. So
Hey, I support hemp from
Netherlands,
all over, all
huh?
day. I
What's that?
support hemp from all over.
Yeah. I just don't support the Chinese stuff because I have seen some of the test results that have come from there, and the
As
test
long as it's
results.
lab tested and clean, of course.
Yeah.
I'm to the point where I feel like everybody should just already assume that they should be lab testing.
Yeah.
Not just a potency, but be sure you have the ability to provide, a raw goods analysis of heavy metals,
Hmm.
potency, pesticides, residual
Pesticides.
solvent, and microbials.
Yep.
These are all things that could affect consumers later on down the road, and if we can help provide a cleaner experience, let's do it.
Yeah. If we're touting CBD for people with compromised immune systems because it helps, and
Mm-hmm.
then we give them something that's laden with pesticides, that's not good.
Well, I mean, that's directly related to the whole vape crisis that just happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we saw basically cartels or black market manufacturers uh, using vitamin E acetate as a cut with THC that was also manufactured with pesticides, predominantly mycobutanol, which is one of your more common pesticides that is found in Eagle 20, so which is also banned in California. But unfortunately, when you concentrate the plant oils from that, you're also concentrating the pesticides used on the plant.
Yep.
And if your plants fail to be able to sell it in state of California, what do? They sell it over state lines. So unfortunately, the demand for these products has gotten so great that we're just now seeing people starting to respond, legalizing, and being able to provide a cleaner experience. So it's unfortunate that we have to hold out so long that people have to die for this to happen. But I feel that it's at least pushing the winds and our sails in the right direction of providing a clean product and a clean experience recreationally or medically in whatever state.
Yeah. For sure. For sure. And we need those transportation laws so that we can move product from one state to another. It's
Yeah, amen.
yeah.
Amen. I mean, no one wants to get in trouble flying with a cartridge from one state to another for business just because, hey, this isn't allowed here or there, right?
Yeah.
So I think that it's going to take some time for specific states to get in line with, what the federal bill, assuming we have a federal bill down the line introduced. But I think we're going to see some type of uniform bill here federally in the country here.
Yeah. That's going to be a good thing. All right. So let's talk about some of your products that I love your stuff. I
What do
love
you
the
want?
fact that it's gluten free, that it's vegan, that your gummies. Um,
Yep.
because I've got friends who are sensitive to gluten, and uh, there's some great products out there, but they can't take them. So
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
yeah,
I just started a gluten kick. I was avoiding gluten here, and that's something that it's very difficult because when you go into the store to buy food or you go into a restaurant, most everything contains gluten, right?
yeah,
And not even just gluten. If you just look at our natural food or just our food ingredients per se, and you compare, Fruit Loops in the United States compared to Fruit Loops in Europe, look at those ingredients and ask, why are those different?
yeah, exactly.
And what are those going to do to us? And if I systematically feed those to my kids during their nurturing stage of their life, what type of long-term, things could we see, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are simple questions we should be asking, but we're not. We're simply just treating stuff with a pill.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly. So I that's one of the reasons that, you know, when people ask me, hey, what's a good company? I have a handful that I always mention, but your CBD Lion's always right up on the top of that list because of the just the cleanness of the product. But
well,
now,
it's
and your product is THC free.
correct.
So
Yeah.
I have, so for the people that actually are wanting a full spectrum, I give them some other names. But the great thing about THC free products is when you're a first responder or when you're in a company that does drug testing and things like that, you don't have to worry about it.
Right. Yeah, we do 10 third-party lab test everything. So, we test our raw goods coming in, we verify the potencies, make sure it's a clean product to formulate with, and then we also third-party lab test coming out of the facility.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel that by operating with that standards, it's going to allow us to make sure that consumers are getting what they're paying for. And let's be real, that's one of the number one problems with this industry right now is getting what you pay for.
A lot of companies don't do testing after manufacturing. They just don't.
It's unfortunate, right?
Yes.
Like I wish I could make 100 products and just put an isolate result on there,
Mm-hmm.
but that doesn't necessarily tell you what's in the product per se in terms of dosage. It may tell you what they put into the product per se of the raw good, but it doesn't tell you exactly how much, and that's the point of testing and dosing the product.
Exactly.
I've seen numerous, reports and news studies where they pulled random products and, more than half of them didn't even have CBD.
Yep.
Well, think about that. Why are people saying that they didn't feel these effects? Well, number one, maybe there isn't even CBD in the products. Number two, maybe it's not dosed properly.
Yeah.
In my opinion, if it doesn't work, don't make it.
Oh, and then there was that company I interviewed, Janet Burns from Leafly last year, and she had done an article on that company that actually added freaking cough medicine to their CBD so that people would feel an effect. And
Yeah.
so, it's like, I want a label that shows what's in my product.
I'll tell you this. As far as I'm concerned, my whole isolate flavorless tincture line,
Mm-hmm.
all these right here, pure clean products.
Mm-hmm.
It's just CBD, MCT oil, because I wanted people to know the benefits of just CBD when they take it,
Exactly.
right? And that's going to help, them ask the question of, oh, well, what can other cannabinoids do, So it's exciting.
So you're playing with CBC now?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah. We've been doing some different research on different cannabinoids like CBG, CBN, CBC, and we're starting to notice the different effects. CBC, we've noticed that it can have, some great effects as far as like prolonging, a THC high, if you will. And we're seeing various different benefits for CBG, very similar to CBD, and in some cases is more, prominent. I don't know exactly what I want to tailor towards what CBG would be more beneficial towards. I don't have any necessary studies to bring up about that, but we're seeing more and more beneficial results from consumers. And this is going to be, I believe, directly related to the entourage effect. If we can provide our bodies with multiple different phytocannabinoids to provide our bodies the signals to heal ourselves, we're going to get an overall beneficial healing effect, or I guess, I guess that's it. Like we're going to find homeostasis much more readily when we can provide more different signals. So I think we're going to see a whole bunch of different products that maybe emphasize with that. If we can produce them at at the right value,
and then you
maybe
also have
really available in the market.
You also provide different terpene mixtures for different things.
Absolutely,
with the vapes.
Terpenes as well as essential oils can provide, a roadmap for ingesting your cannabinoids, right? So those essential oils and terpenes, they're going to act as an endocannabinoid modulator, and basically they're going to affect the different areas of your brain in terms of how you're going to be experiencing those cannabinoids.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, if I take a product that has, let's say, lavender oil or linalool terpenes in there, it should provide a much more calming effect, great for, rest and sleep. Whereas, if I take a citrus or a more of like a lemon-based vaporizer,
Mm-hmm.
that's high in limonene, which affects the area of the brain, which is going to help reduce anxiety and calm you down as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, we like to take advantage of the different effects by providing the different essential oils and the different benefits of those essential oils.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see here's a great example of our bath bomb here.
Yeah.
So you can see we like to provide different charts like this.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to help provide the consumer with additional potential benefits of the products. Again, I say potential benefits because it's very difficult to make claims in this space. So we're trying to dot our I's, cross our T's.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel anytime we can provide those different tools, it's going to help the consumer find their Goldilocks zone, right?
Yeah. And that's what we're, what good
You
companies.
gotta delete the Goldilocks zone comment. I hated that.
Sorry, it's in
Deleted
there.
it. It sucks. Oh my god, it wasn't even close to what I was trying to say.
But no, but I mean, no, but that's what it is though, is finding that zone. But the thing is that companies that provide the information so that people can find what they're looking for, they're
Yep.
the ones that are providing. I mean, it's just such a great service because so many have no idea what's good for what. I mean, not there's just not enough really read, readily available education out there.
Right.
Because when you go online, you start Googling stuff, doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna get what you're looking for. But when you can go to a product and you can see the list of oils or essential oils or cannabinoids or whatever
Yep.
is actually in the product, and it actually says this is what this is good for. It just
Mm-hmm.
makes it so much easier when you're choosing a tincture or when you're choosing a topical.
100%. Or a vaporizer. I mean, certain
Exactly.
people are walking into these points of sales and they're specifically looking for something for sleep or pain.
Yeah.
And, as a manufacturer, it's my goal to be able to provide those products for these consumers.
Yes,
We
getting the right one and getting the right effect from it.
Yep. I mean, nobody wants to buy a product and not get the benefit that they bought it for, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's what I really do like about your products is that you've got the list. You've got the
something for everybody, right?
yeah.
Every type of consumption method. We have a tincture that starts at 250 milligrams in a 15 mil, all the way up to 5,000 milligrams in the 30 mil. We've got 100 milligram bath bombs. We've got everyday lotions.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 100 milligram bath bomb. That's 100 milligrams of CBD in a bath.
Yep.
And you've got, your skin is covered in receptors and CBD receptors.
Absolutely.
It is just wow.
It's an experience. It's a unique experience. I thought bath bombs were all fluff. And then I tried a quality bath bomb and I said, whoa,
Yeah.
I think everybody needs to experience this. So we ended up launching these bath bombs here and providing 5 unique scents. And I think that, based on the different feedback we've gotten, they're an absolute hit. People love them and they're seeing the benefits. And it's difficult to try them and not make them a part of your routine, honestly. Yeah. For example, whenever I travel, if I have a trade show, I have a bath bomb for after that trade show. Because I was on my feet all day. It's bath time.
100%. But I also, what people need to remember is, like you were just talking about, is the different methods to be able to bring CBD into your system. You
Absolutely.
topical vapes,
Yeah, so for the different types of there's different methods for every type of consumer out there, right? Some people may benefit from solely just topical. Some people may benefit from taking a tincture twice a day, once in the morning, once at night. Some people may benefit just from vaping a vape pen whenever they have an anxiety attack, and maybe they don't need CBD other than that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about providing a different product for different people and different experiences that they're wanting to consume this product for. And if we can make them a positive experience and make a product better, I think that the reviews will speak for themselves, which is what we're seeing.
Yeah, that's a good thing. All right. Well,
Absolutely.
I've taken enough of your time tonight, and I try to keep it under an hour for
That
our
was
listeners.
excellent. I
So,
appreciate your time, Don. It was great seeing you again.
nice seeing you. Okay, everybody, you guys stay happy and stay healthy. We'll catch you on the next
All right.
episode.
Take care.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.